Hello. So, those that do not know me, I am Christina, and I am doing a book review on the ones that I have read since the last time I talked to you guys. So, first one up. This one is Zola by D.E. McCluskey. Here it is. It is a very, very thin book, and thank goodness that it is, because I don't know if I would have been able to hold on tight and finish the book. This book, oh my gosh. So this book had a lot of stuff in there. It had a lot of stuff to do with poop. It had some sexual abuse, some verbal and physical beatings, like emotional stuff. It had like a lot of stuff in here. Okay, so let's tell a little bit about the story. I'll try not to ruin the ending. Okay, so sorry, try to get in the picture here. So there's a little boy. I guess the dad took him out to a club or something, and the dad's friends and him sexually abused the little boy. They come back to the house. The mother finds out that his butthole is bleeding, and of course, what does she do? She uses a tampon to stop the bleeding in the butt. So then the mom is like, no, that's where I draw the line. And I was like, oh, okay, this book is going to get really good. Mother's going to go after all the guys that did this to my little kid. And, oh, I'm going to get them back, what bad things they've done. And I thought it was going to be like an extreme killing. I'm going to kill everyone that did this to my little sweetie. No, it took the wrong turn. Somewhere in there, it got lost. So, mother goes and kills the dad. Yes. She keeps his body in a closet. Kind of like one of those hutches or maybe a closet. Anyway, so he is in this like closet. I'm going to call it a closet. He's in there and he's dead. His body is bloated. He's stinking. There's hundreds and hundreds of flies. As you open the door to the bedroom, you can't even go in. It's so black because of all the flies. And it's just, as soon as you open the house door, you can smell a dead body, like death. Thank goodness the little boy does do homeschooling with mama. So, not a lot of in and out of going to school and that. So, and she doesn't have a lot of friends because the way that he treated her, it was kind of like one of those guys that I don't allow you to go out without me. I don't allow you to have friends because you might talk about me. That kind of guy, you know, everybody knows about that kind of guy. So, she didn't have a lot of friends. He didn't have a lot of friends. He was homeschooled. She's staying at the house as a stay-at-home mom. She had a couple of dollars that she had saved whenever the dad would give her money. She saved it, thank goodness, because now he is dead. So she figures she has probably about a year to live off of the money that she had hid. She's trying to think of different ways to bring in income for clothes and for extra stuff that the little guy needs and she needs. So, after she decides that she's going to cover up the smell with cheese. Cheese is her favorite thing. She covers up the smell, kind of puts like blue cheese on this dead body. Somehow she ended up cooking it because she thought like, let's get rid of it or something. I don't know. So somehow in her head, she was like, hey, let's cut some of this and eat it. So they start eating little pieces with like blue cheese, or I guess her favorite kind of cheese. Anyway, they start eating it, and mom would be like, we're having cheese steaks tonight. And the little boy is like, that's my favorite. So here they are eating dad. The little boy don't know they're eating dad. He gets to the very end of like the body, or the mom gets to the end of the body, and she's like, I need a new one. That's what we were surviving off of. So my little boy needs some food in that. So she would go out, bring home a man, and do the same thing. So it became like a habit thing that every time they would bring home a body, she would dismember it and that, and they would start living off of it. So as time, two dogs. We have dogs here, so they're playing. So as time goes by, they're just living their life, and she's feeding him these dead bodies of men and that she's brought in home. And time goes on and on and on. The little boy is like now a man. He's got full beard, full hair. Like he probably is like a big man, so he's probably like 6 something. He sounds like he's a pretty big, like burly man, so probably like 200, 300 pounds. He's got belly on him. Um, so I guess she's giving him reused clothes and that. I figure she's kind of giving them like clothes from the guys that she gets too. And then whatever else she gets from like maybe thrift stores. And one day he wakes up and he's in his bedroom doing naughty things because his mom does not approve. So he's in bed. He wakes up and he's doing the naughty. So she wouldn't know. And this little boy, he's got some sick problems. He keeps his stuff in a jar and eats it. Oh gosh. And just the stink of something fermenting in a jar and you're eating it. So anyway, he eats it. So he's doing it in the bedroom, and then he goes sneaking down the hall, and he's like, "Mom hasn't come and did nothing yet. Like, where is she?" He opens her bedroom door, and she's on her side, I guess, sleeping, he thinks, and then she didn't move the next time he checked on her, so she's dead. She's laying in bed dead. So he leaves her for like the day or something to get dressed, and then he keeps checking on her to make sure she didn't move. He's hungry, so he starts snooping around the house, and he's never cooked. He's never done a thing in his life because Mama does everything for him. And so he opens the fridge, and there's like a head from somebody, and he starts bringing it out of the fridge. The head juice slips off the plate, and it falls on the floor. And then he falls and the head goes flying up like that. I guess the floor is very dirty, like full of dirt and dust and mud. And like the floor kind of looks probably like a hoarder's house, like nasty, nasty stuff all over the floor. So he picks the head up, he puts it down, and he licks his fingers. And then he kind of pulls out the hairs or whatever else is left, like chunks of dirt and all that. Pulls that out of his mouth and he's like, ugh. So the head is sour. And he's like, oh, gross. And then he starts getting a spoon and start eating it. And like the head is so soft, the spoon could go, I guess, like pudding and eat it. And then he's like, oh, I'm hungry. He lives off of that for a couple of days. And then he's like, I'm going to have to eat something. And he ends up going anyway to go see his mom and cuts off a little piece of her. And like she's never told him once that that's how she was getting the cheesesteaks. But here he is. He's smart. He figured it out. So he cuts off a piece of her. And he's like, I've never used like the stove or nothing. Like he doesn't know anything. And so he eats a little piece of it, fried it up and that. It wasn't the best. So he's like, well, Mother has a drawer full of cheese. Let me mix it with some cheese. And he's like, well, that was better. She used to marinate it in brown sauce. What kind of brown sauce do we have? So instead of going in your cupboard looking for brown sauce or brown sugar, barbecue sauce, or anything like that you can marinate with, first thing does is like, hey, I know. My toilet has an iceberg of poop in there. Let me go and use some of that. First off, why is your toilet so full of poop? Like, you should have it flushed, not it building up so high that it turned into a darn iceberg. Ew. So he scoops some of that and he's like, oh, I need some liquid now because I know that she uses it and it's liquidy in there. So he goes to Mother and he tries to scoop out some of her poop and that, and so he ends up eating her and cutting like pieces and just keep on eating. Days go by and he's using most of her body. He really, really loves her breasts, so he doesn't want to cut that up and eat it unless he really has to. It comes to a point that I thought he was going to end up using the body for like a sex body, but thank goodness he did not. But he used her mouth. And he uses her mouth, and then when he did his excitement stuff, he would scoop it back out of her mouth and eat it. I'm like, ooh, that's not good. That's that's gross. So he's eating the stuff out of her mouth because he was playing in the toilet. He did cut his hand when he was cutting a piece of her off. So now he's got an infected hand. He's getting very sick. He's throwing up. He's pooping his pants. Just standing there. He can't control it. It's coming out both ends. And we don't know what is going on. So you're going to have to read the book to find out what's happening with this guy. We don't know if there's police or if he's going to get caught with dead body and his mom. If the neighbors are going to call him because of the stink. Like, we don't know. Well, I do because I read the book, but you don't know. So you're going to have to go on and read this. I got mine off of Amazon. And it is just 131 pages. You could sit down and read it in one sitting. I'm a mom, and I took a couple sit-downs in between chores and that. But it was only a one-day read. So between all my chores, I got it done in one day. It was exciting. It kept me interested that I wanted to read more what was going to happen to this guy. I know it was gross. I almost threw up a couple of times. But my brain still was like, hey, what's going to happen to this guy? Like, is he going to get caught? Is he going to die? Like, my brain just was Snoopy and wanted to know, okay? So, this is a very extreme, yucky book. But go ahead, find out the ending. Let's get on to our next book. So, our next book is Dolly and Pip, Double Penetration. Now, the name, it sounds kind of like a porn book, but it is not. Well, it has to do with sexual stuff. It has some swearing, and it... Does this have a warning? I thought maybe it had a warning. Oh, trigger warning. This book is extreme horror. Reader discretion is strongly advised. So it does have that one. So this one is a very short book as well. It is... Where is it? 95 pages. So this is a one sit down, and it is so cute, so small, like the size of your hand. This book is not like double penetration like you think it is. It is actually have to do with sexual assault in that as well. So these kids, they sound like they're in like a mental hospital, a mental institution, that they can't talk or move or anything. So this doctor kind of has his way with the kids. I'm suspecting that they're very young. So he's in there doing the kids. Some of the kids that he's done, he's peed inside them, gotten them infections. One, I guess, maybe died from this infection. One, I guess, got pregnant, and he had to pull the little fetus and that out and put it in a jar on his shelf. So there's a lot that's going on in here. So one girl got sent away, like, not by choice, because of this baby, and they found out, like, police are doing an investigation, but he does not know. So it starts off with, like, he's in there doing this little kid, or whatever it is. So we'll skip that part. And then the little boy and girl and that are crying, and they're like, we need help. There's this little teddy bear that comes to life, and he's like, hey, we'll help you. There's like a rocking horse, or it'll tell you in here what they are. So I'm just going to call them teddy bears, okay? I don't want to give too much away, because then you don't want to read it, and it's 95 pages, so read it. So anyway, these teddy bears come to life and start helping the little kids by taking care of the business. So they tie this guy down, pulls all his teeth out, this doctor, and so they get a catheter, they open up his urethra, I think that's what you call it. So they open up his pee hole. They start sticking teeth in it, so it's like that, and they're sticking teeth all in it. So much teeth are going in the pee hole that his penis is like standing straight up because of so much teeth are in it, that it is held up by teeth. So that is nasty. So they do a bunch of stuff. They start giving him the formaldehyde because he said he was thirsty. And then the one doll was like, no, 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 you're going to kill him. So then they pour a glass of water down his throat so he doesn't die from just all that. They want to kind of do it slow and torture him. They do a bunch of stuff on here. I have a couple of pages that have little sticky notes. Oh, this one says, like, I don't listen to anyone whose G-spot is in their asshole. Just kind of some funny things that you read. What one was this? Oh, they did find the little fetus and they put it inside his stomach and they sewed him up looking like Frankenstein. It's all like bumpy and that. So here it says, the finished suture line looks like Frankenstein's zipper. Bloated, puckered, leaking blood around the edges, pink from exposure as it moved up and down with heavy breaths. And I'm like, what? This side, I think there was one that... because I fucking asked, brain queef. So it does have some funny parts. It does have a lot of explanations. It does have a lot of what is happening, and they give you it in detail. So let's just say that teddy bears take care of Doctor. Doctor is no longer there. There's a fire. There's torture. Everything. At the end, the police and the fire team come because it's on fire, obviously. So then after they get the kids out, they start hauling the kids to an asylum and that. And then the police was like, we were doing an investigation on this doctor because of this little girl that was pregnant and she magically died in that. So they were doing an investigation on her and on him about her. And so they were just going to go down there and go get this doctor. But magically, some bad stuff happened to the doctor and the place went up on flames. So, teddy bears took care of the doctor because the doctor was being a very bad doctor. So, these teddy bears, I guess, were the good guys. But they didn't know kind of how to do things. Some of the ways that they described, you're like, oh, that's a little baby. That's what somebody would do if they were a baby. Like, kind of the way that they talked in that. So, I guess because teddy bears don't have brains. So, this one was a good read. They did pay back the pedophile what he deserved. So, go ahead, read that. And this one, by the way, was by R.I. Powell. Or maybe it's R.J. Powell. R.I. Powell. So, there you go. Now, John Atman, I like his writing. So, I really like it. But, this one that he has, When She Weeps, and it's like a 400-page book or something, $3.96. Does it have a warning? I did spill my hot chocolate on this by accident, so I did try to wipe the pages. So, that's why it looks a little damaged and some hot chocolate down here, so that's not anything bad. It's just hot chocolate. Let's see. Did this one have a warning? Oh, yes. So this one has a warning. Okay. This one. Lots of graphic, lots of torture, sexual stuff, like everything that you would see like on a scary movie, okay? This girl wants to escape Mexico with her kids. She wants to gather up enough money to leave the border, but they tell her one price. She gathers up that money, and then she wants to leave. And they're like, hey, no, didn't they tell you? They upped the price. And she's like, no, how am I ever going to get that? That's too expensive. So she goes into a brothel kind of thing, trying to make money. Down there, I guess it was legal, or it is legal, I'm not sure. But it said like that it was there. So, she's trying to make money. She tells the kids that like she's at a restaurant, so she goes and gets them McDonald's every morning, sends them off to school, and then she meets this one guy. We'll just call him a John. So she meets him and he's like, hey, you could be making a lot more money if you work with me. I will take care of you. I'll be your like big rescuer kind of guy, right? So she's like, wow. But she doesn't take it right away. He comes back one day and sees her. And she was like, hey, yeah, I want to take that job. And he's like, what do you think? That offer is still standing? And she's like, oh, I thought just because the way you said it last time. And he's like, no, I'm kidding. If you want to, like, let's go. So he gets her to take drugs with him across the border because she looked innocent and that she had English background in that, so she was Mexican and English, like she could talk both. So they do that, they make money. So now they're working in the cartel kind of thing, And the kids' friends all were like, hey, you're working for the bad guys, your family, and you were going to die. And so the mom was like upset, and she's like, no, like, that's not going to happen. I'm just doing this for a little while, but she doesn't tell the kids like what she's doing and everything. So it all comes down to she was somewhere that she wasn't supposed to be, like wrong time, all that kind of thing, right? So she's with this one girl, and the cartel comes, shoots everyone, grabs a couple of hostages. They get down, and she's with this one girl and a couple other guys. She gets tortured. The other girl gets shot and tortured. So this girl, her, she gets to open up, and she tells kind of a little bit about people, who she's working for, but she doesn't know anything, what she's supposed to be doing, and she doesn't give no description because she doesn't know nothing. So then they take her kids out of the vehicle, and they drown the kids in the pool, and the other cartel guys were coming, so they got kind of like two cartels after each other all the time. So they were coming, they started getting the bad guys and loading them up or shooting them and taking care of them anyway. So she's laying there, she ends up in the hospital, like they have a cartel hospital so they don't get called the cops on and that. So, and then she like wakes up from there, she got fixed and healed. She does have like this eye tear duct that keeps bleeding. So if she does something that it would just randomly start bleeding. So the guy said, like, your kids have died. We went and buried it because we've asked you several times and you didn't answer us back because I guess she was like grieving down there because she saw her kids die. So the boss for her, the Mexican cartel guy, he went and buried her kids in the hometown, and given her chances to tell him where. He's given her chances to go get the kids' clothes, blah, 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 so on and so on, okay? So at the end, they're like, hey, I need you to take care of these guys. I know you didn't tell on us. That was good, but you were still kind of being a rat, kind of saying, like, names and people, and because you were trying to save your own self. But, so in the end, she finds, like, they find up all the guys that were torturing them and killed the kids and that. And so she goes kind of and tortures and kills the bad guys. And so you're going to have to take this one and read it. It was good. Basically, she goes after the bad guys that killed her kids. I did like it, but I didn't like it at the same time because there was a lot of like Mexican or Spanish, or I don't want to be rude, but whatever language this was in there, I think it was Mexican, Spanish, and that. So they kept saying it like a big paragraph, and then it would say like what it was translated to, like this meant this and this and this. This meant this and this and this. And so as I was reading it, every time I see that whole big paragraph blurb of some other language, my brain just skipped it, jumped to the bottom part that said this is translated to this. So here my brain is getting jumped back and forth, and I was getting confused, and then I get back there, and then I get bored. So, it was okay, but you get the hint that, or you get like the main parts out of all of it. So yeah, it was good. I like his writing though. He does do a good job at explaining things, paying these bad guys back. So this one he is getting her to pay back the bad guys that killed her kids. So read this, find out what happens if she ends up, her tear duct stop, if she kills every single bad guy, if she leaves the Mexican cartel, if she gets across the border, like what is going to happen to her. You need to read it. So go ahead, read it. Also, the last book that I've read so far is The Groomer by John Attan. Here it is. And they do have a little warning on the back as well as I think it's in the front. Let me just see. There it is. So all these books that we have read so far have warnings on them. If you do have trigger warnings and that, go ahead, look it up, because some of it has to deal with like children. Some have to do with killing, torturing. There's a lot of torturing in these books. Very descriptive if you don't like that kind of thing. But I like scary movies and I like scary stuff. And this is just like watching a movie that she goes after the bad guys, or the little dolls go after the bad guy. Like, this is all stuff you see on movies. So, but a lot of people have different triggers. So you do what you want, and I am doing what I want. So I like them. I'm reading them. I want to read more, find out what authors I like, what I don't, and find out who's good and who's bad. So this one is another thick book. This is a 335 page book, and this one was good. So a little kid is talking to this person on Roblox. All you parents with Roblox, or I guess the kids with Roblox. So anyway, this little kid is talking to this guy. He thinks like he's his age. They're talking, getting along, blah, blah, blah. One day it comes down to, hey, I have a Roblox card. Do you want it? And he's like, yeah, just send it. And he's like, well, I want to meet you in person so we could play on our games together. So the guy makes a spot down at some park to play with. And so he goes after school one day to go meet this guy that he's been online with talking. So he meets this kid, and this kid is like older. And he's like, oh, I thought you were around my age. And he's like, well, no, but I love these games. And kind of like a pretty boy look. So they got like a pretty young face just to kind of lure all the kids. And he's like the bottom man. And then there's like a middleman, the driver, and that. Then there's like another guy that brings the kids and that to somebody else to torture. And then the main guy that finishes them off, whatever, right? So it's kind of like a step. So the bottom guy is the pretty boy. So he's like, hey, I could drive you. I have to make this cheat for your game so you could do this and this to your game. And so the kid's like, well, I have to be home by supper. And he's like, it's okay, I'll drive you. Let's go to my house first, and then I'll drive you home. It'll take 5 minutes. We'll be there faster than you would walk now. So the little guy is like, okay, let's go. So they get kidnapped. He gets kidnapped anyway. He goes to this place. They kidnap him, torture him. And the things that they do to some of these little boys and girls, you're like, oh gosh. There was a little baby in the same room as this one, and the little baby was put in a vice, and arms popped off in the vice, the head, the eye fell out. Like, some of the things in there, you're like, oh my gosh, like, how did you even think of this? But it's part of the story. So after the little boy and the little baby get taken care of, there's a little girl that goes missing, and the dad is like, hey, I need to find my daughter. He goes, long story short, he goes from person to person, finds little information here and there, and then he goes to these people and ends up killing them. There was a mechanic, and he's like, I didn't do nothing, I passed her off to this guy. So he would kill that one and torture them. So a lot of descriptions how they got tortured are in there. I just don't want to tell you guys too much, or you probably not want to read it, right? So he tortures a couple of guys before he even gets to the main guy. The main guy that has the daughter, he found out a bookshelf that has the guy downstairs in this like hidden panic room. And the sister ends up walking in. They said that they killed the daughter anyway. The daughter, they made her body parts kind of streamers from the roof, so all the body parts were dismembered. And so anyway, long story short, they killed the little girl. And so now the dad is there to pay back this pervert, and he has hundreds of computers and videos and pictures and everything that you don't want to see. So anyway, he's in the middle of torturing this guy, and this girl comes down. She's like 19 years old or something. She comes down, and that's like, that's my brother, leave him alone. And he's like, let her go. She doesn't know nothing about any of this. So he's like, well, she's going to take care of you, or she's going to be dead too. So he gets her to do some things to this guy, like sandpaper on his hoo-hoo, and like, I don't want to tell so much because that's like the main event of the main bad guy. Let's take care of him, right? Anybody that touches kids. So I will leave you to read what she does to him, and then he actually dies. But in the end, he's got this girl and the brother, and so the police come to the door, and he's like, I have hostages. I want the investigator doing the investigating for my daughter. I want him to come here. So the investigator comes to the house, and he's like, this guy is the one that did it. He's like, it's okay, I'll take care of it. So the dad, of course, goes and no, the bad guy went to do something, and then he got shot by the cop and that. So then the dad shot himself, and as the police was doing like a walk around and that, the dad shot himself in the face, so he wouldn't be able to be there anymore because he wanted to be with his daughter, so she wouldn't be alone. That was nice. But yeah, he took care of all the bad guys that took his daughter, and it was a good book at the end. Like, the whole thing was good. Like, nobody wants to see their kid get stolen, kidnapped, sold, or any bad things happening to your kid. You could just imagine the pain and how scared they are. So it was good. The dad took care of the bad guys and then took care of himself so he could be with her, and the mom is with the brother. So nobody's kind of by themselves, but his duty as a dad, he thought, was like, hey, I take care of my daughter. And he didn't want to be there after if she's not there. It was a good book. I liked this one. I liked how the writing was. I didn't have to read a different language. I just read straight through. It took probably 2 days to read it because we were busy and that with the kids, but it was a good book. So all these books are like, in the end, you think that it's nasty poop and bad guys taking kids, doing a bunch of bad things to the kids and that. But you know what? In the end, it's a mom killing bad guys because they killed her kid. A dad killing bad guys because they took his daughter and killed her. This one was because dad and a whole bunch of friends sexually abused the little boy. The mom killed the dad and then had to make them survive off of meat. So she had to keep doing it. This one was dolls killing because the doctor was bad to the kids that could not help themselves. So in the end, they were actually for something. It wasn't just because, hey, I want to dig and poop. I got special needs or something and I didn't know any better. Not putting nobody down. But like, it's not just a book written just because. It's a book written because there's a storyline at the end. So if you want to read those, they are good. Storylines are good. Some of them are not written as good as the others, but you get the point of the story. But the worst one of them all was this one. Oh my gosh. I did not know somebody could ever write like that. Oh my gosh. My first book that I've almost thrown up reading. My first one. All right. Let's follow along, see what other ones we have. I do have like 7 other ones on my desk to be reading. So I've already started, and follow back so we know what we're doing. You could come follow and kind of hear a little bit of the story. I know I don't tell it the best because I don't want to give too much details in that. I don't want to scare people off or just give them the bad things or the good things. I want you guys to be able to tell for yourselves. But oh my gosh, they were good.